Sepe for Muscle and Fitness. I'm Frank Sepe with Robert Wilkins here for Fit to Serve, brought to you by Muscle and Fitness. And our guest is none other than Chef Rush. He's back. And I know, Rob, you wanted to say a few words before we start.
Sure. So, hi, everybody. Frank and I are glad to be back, and we couldn't be more pleased to have one of our favorite people, someone we actually love like a brother, Chef Rush. Chef, before we started, we want to express our condolences to you and your family for losing your daughter. The community from Jake Wood and Dan Solomon and all of us, just you remain in our thoughts and prayers. And so we just want to make sure you know that we're surrounding you. We're here to help you in any way we can, surrounding you with comfort and support. And just like our good friend Mort Greenberg did for you, anything you need from us, we're here to do it for you. So we just want to start off this podcast making sure that you understand we got your back.
Well, I really appreciate that, Rob. I appreciate that, Frank. And thank you for saying that. You know, the Muscle Family Fitness, Muscle Fitness family, with Jake and Dan and everybody, the whole crew, you guys have been absolutely amazing, giving me support from day one. And I know everybody's gonna be asking about, my daughter, also her brothers, who passed away, unfortunately. Asen, my daughter was Ava. Her brother was 5 and 6, and she was 11. And this happened national news a couple weeks ago, which I just left there from last week. And unfortunately, it was a case of something that we don't talk about, like stigma. And everything. I'm a faith-based person. If you guys already know, I believe, things happen for a reason, and He makes no mistakes, and so forth. And we have to deal with a lot of things. And in our lives, Robert, you've been in the military. Frank, you've seen so many different things. We have to deal with the hardest things. And our thing is that we're still being the supporters instead of being supported. So it's nice to feel that same in return. We're being supported on that part, because sometimes we don't know how to receive support. Like me, I don't know how to receive support because I'm always the one that's out front and doing what I do, and I do it organically, with the push-ups or veterans or kids, with my nonprofit, my speakings with the shows and whatnot, and even this show. And I have the support from like you guys to be able to put that in front. Unfortunately, my daughter and her brothers were. Their lives were taken by their father, who's a military veteran, and also in the law enforcement area. And he took another command sergeant major's life as well, and he took his own life afterwards. And their mother gave me permission to talk about this because she can't, and she won't for a very long time. And she knows me. I have to be the person that has to be in front. And if I don't ever say it, it will never be said. Because we're very complacent as people sometimes. We forget very easily. If something traumatic happened, we'll live on to it, especially if it's to someone else. We'll hang on to it for a second, and then we'll keep on going on with our lives. And that's the way it is. And when she asked me, it was actually just yesterday, she said she wants me to keep their names alive. And that's what I plan to do. She's doing a foundation, and what I do with him being a veteran, their mothers of active military right now, and how it happened and what happened was out of the blue. And we talk about this, Rob, Frank, all the time. You never know what people are going through and how they're going through it, what they're going through. And I'm saying this because I don't want it to be any misinterpretations of what may have or what have, because people don't know. And regardless of whatever situation is, it should have never happened. Not to that command sergeant major, not to a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, 11-year-old, not to kids, not to anyone. And actually, and especially it's hard because it's in our community as veterans or military, and we talk about PTSD and we talk about it. I struggle every day. I've said that all the time. I struggle every day. The last time I cried was today. The next time I'll cry will be tomorrow. Next time I'll probably cry will be after this. Am I crying right now? No. Inside, I'm torn up. But I feed off of you guys, which I'm very appreciative. And on all audiences and everybody that's there who have supported me and who continue to support me, I have to keep going. We have to keep going. We have to keep doing what we do because somebody's going to hear this. Somebody's going to be aware and acute to say, you know what, I'm going through the same thing. So whether it be if it's domestic violence, whether it be PTSD, suicidal, mental health, wellness, bullying, something like that, you have to get some support. Don't just say it's going to fly over. And if you don't see the signs, and you don't know the signs, stop for a second and look at anything. It may be the minutest thing that you could possibly think of or see, and see something's changing about him, her, or them, or they, and then look a little bit closer, right? Family members, loved ones, whatever. All I have to say on that part is, and I'll stop, is that support each other, and that's what it's all about. And Ava, Aiden, Nason, even just Command Sergeant Major, I know I put all of them together because the Sergeant Major, grown man, just there at the wrong time. Those kids, and we look at things a little bit more, we look at things differently because of our human nature. If something happens to kids, compared to something happened to me, it's terrible what happened to Chef. But if it happened to my kids, it's like, oh my God, that's a tragedy what happened to the kids, because you took a life that's at the beginning and you ended it because they could have done so much more. My daughter was an artist. She played violin, piano. She did fashion. She did all these different things. And, I don't know what she could have been, but whatever she could have been or they could have been, it was going to be amazing. And there could be the greatest. So I just want to say again, thank you so much for that. And thank you for having me on. So now I want to stop and I want to move forward. And just tell everybody again, take care of each other, remember each other. And just because you're having a hard day, somebody is having a much, 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 much harder time.
Right. And Chef, thank you. I mean, this is the first time you've spoken about this. We've been supporting you quietly behind the scenes with a number of your friends, but we just wanted to make sure that you got us. And as I spoke to you earlier, I shared with you the acronym for HOPE. Hang on, pain ends. And we just want to make sure that whatever you need, call Frank, call me, call Dan, call more. We're here for you. So as you said, let's move forward on the positivity, because now we have another angel up above watching over her dad and making sure that he gets the biggest deals in the world coming soon, the best chef in the world, #1 bookseller, all these great things. So how about you, Frank? You can start off with your first question to this huge celebrity named Chef Fresh.
Well, let me just say,
little brother.
Yeah, well, let me just say that anything you need personally for me to keep your daughter's name alive, you got it. Chef Rush has always been a great guy, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. You didn't have to. And just like you, it's like you to take a tragedy and turn it into something positive. So thank you for that. So hopefully, we'll do what we can as to help you with the foundation personally and from a company standpoint, of course. But let's talk about some happy things. We were just talking about your social media and how extremely famous you are becoming now. And all your numbers are going up. The #1 show right now on Tubi, right? We can talk about that for people who don't know about it so we can get the numbers even bigger.
No, what's funny? Kelly Muscle, who's been a supporter of me since day one, he put a video up yesterday, and he was in Barnes and Nobles, and he was buying a book, and then he panned over and said, "Yeah, it was a book of my book, like facing up." He was like, "Do you know this guy, Chef Rush? You may not know him. He doesn't have a lot of followers, but he's super famous." And it just made me kind of tickled me a little bit because. I never look for anything like that. And, Rob knows me. I just went through the motions. I did what I did, and I do what I do. And then about 6 or 7 months ago, I said, you know what, I'm going to try to grow my social media. And I did that. And I'm in the military. I'm not Air Force, but I'm Army, right, Rob?
Rob.
So Army, we have to kind of like we have to look at everything left and right, right and left, up and down, and we go to everything. So you look at the algorithms, look at times, trends, this and this, and I was able to grow my social media by 2.3 or 4 million throughout my social media. You know, from 60,000 to 1.5 million on YouTube, and same thing with TikTok and blah 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 and so forth. But I'll say something to you about that is your numbers on social media doesn't determine your fame or your success.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the most humbling thing for me is when I'm in the airport, or when I'm anywhere, kids come up to me and they want to take pictures, or people say, thank you for your support. Thank you for what you do and how you do it. Thank you. You changed my life through fitness and health. You made me get out. You motivated me and all those things. They don't say, I love your TV show because it's a TV show. They say, I love what you do on your TV show and how you inspire people. It's not just a regular cooking show. And I'm fortunate for Gordon Ramsay for giving me that creative freedom and the showrunners to let me go and put in that military aspect, you know, put in my 4 Ps, you know, being positive, you know, pride, practice what you preach, peace of mind, mental health, and then push-ups, because I make everybody push, to include myself. And it means a lot to me. So I'm humbled by that extremely.
You know, it's funny. I told my son yesterday, he's like, what are you doing tomorrow? Because we train together like 3 or 4 days a week. And I'm like, oh, I got Chef Rush on a podcast with Rob. He goes, Chef Rush. I go, yeah, big guy. He goes, oh, wow. He goes, the big guy, because he's on TikTok all the time. He goes, he's cool. He's cool. And I was in the gym this morning, and they're like, what do you got going on today? I was like, 3 o'clock. They're like, oh, the cook, the chef. And I was like, yeah. So it's funny because now everyone's starting to be like, you know, you're getting well known. I mean, the numbers aren't lying, so people identify you. But it was funny with my son with TikTok. He's like, oh, I know Chef Rush.
Well, next time I see you, I got something for you.
Oh, awesome.
Mhm.
Hopefully it's better
Chef,
than the chicken dish I sent you yesterday.
I look a little dirty.
That's right.
A little bit.
and Chef, I remember when you described it, what you do, how it affects people. If you remember, about 2 years ago, we were at the Olympia and the lines were long and you had places to go. And every time someone stopped you, we stopped and talked with them. And then, you know, sometimes you see the parents, their eyes get all welled up because their kid wanted to meet you. And when you took that time and you gave them a coin and you give them a hug or something, or say you can do it too, it's the way that we can help bring our country back together, getting one person at a time through physical fitness, through service to our country, that personal connection goes a long way. It makes people feel like they count, that they matter, that they're important. So I've seen this many times with you, especially from the beginning, because I've been with you from the start of your journey here until now. And it's just amazing to see that your lines have just gotten longer and longer, but you give everybody time they need. Sometimes that's 5 minutes. And, you know, when you have a long line, I know people have other places to go, but to them, to that person, it might be the first and only time they meet you. And that experience will always be special to them. So I'm watching and I do appreciate what you do for them, because I remember being that child, being waiting in lines and sometimes not being treated well and other times being treated well. So thank you for what you do.
You know, Rob, I'll tell you what, brother, you gave me chill bumps. You can't see them behind you. This is not my muscle. That's a chill bump. That's not my try. That's a chill bump, Rob. But you know, I was at the Arnold this year. You know, you weren't there, and I missed you. And I was there, and you know, I was doing a thing with MuscleTech, and I hadn't done anything with them yet. But I just said I want to support them. They're supporting me. I'm a loyal person. If you support me in any type of way or form, I'm going to show you support. And so I went there and I supported, and it was a little bit overwhelming because I probably throughout the whole entire Olympia, I maybe went 200 feet, 200 meters or whatever it may have been, because I just stood there and took pictures where I was with Arnold with his guys, security. They were like, Chef, we need to have security for you next year because I couldn't even go to the bathroom. And, you know, it was very extremely humbling, because what was humbling about it was we're in a fitness event. but the diversity of people that come to the fitness event and the diversity of people not only thinking about fitness with the kids and with mothers and from military and law enforcement and all, everyone came over and they all said the same thing. I'm a fan. I love what you do and how you do it. Thank you. You inspire me. You know, I was bullied, or I had ideation, I had this, I had that. And Rob knows that I always say that people say, Chef, you can't talk to everyone. You can't take pictures with, and it's not happening. I will spend 10 hours in a row just sitting there in one spot taking pictures, having to use the bathroom. I'm like, nope, let me get this kid, let me get this kid, you know. But luckily, favorably, I have friends like Rob who would actually wait right there with me. When he could go and do anything he wants to do, he just stands right there with me while they do
At
it.
a distance though, because I didn't want to get COVID this last time.
They don't want to confuse you with the chef. You know?
That's
Yeah.
true.
The chef is hugging and shaking all these hands. I'm like, hey, fist bumps and stuff because I didn't want to get sick. But
That energy be happening. I'll be like, oh my
That's
God,
right.
What message do you give the kids when they come up to you? I'm just curious, for kids who don't have, you know, the benefit of seeing you in person, what do you say?
So the one thing I do have, people don't know, like we have these challenge coins. I have little ones for the kids that I pin on them, each one. And it says, you know, when my mother passed, you can do anything, never give up, keep going. So on my TV show, this is the one right here.
That's awesome.
You can do anything, keep going, keep going. Everybody wants this coin. I don't give it everyone. First of all, they're very expensive, but the way challenge coins work, you know, bigger you go better. But the way challenge coins work is you have to do something that's going to be extraordinary, or you have to be like, well, the president has them, everyone has them. Like I got 1,000 ones behind me, but it's for someone that has made a purpose or a cause, or someone, in my case, is that can cause a purpose or a cause.
Love it.
Yeah. It could be the person who's a CEO or a COO. It could be that very person that's sweeping the yard or sweeping the floor or picking up trash. That means just as much to me as anything else. And that's the same thing I did on my TV show. So I showed that passion and give this to them, let them know, hey, you're the future and I'm here to support you and I'm with you. And so what it is, I just tell them, you can do anything, never give up, keep going. My mother told me that when I was born to the day she passed away. And I know it's just a simple word to say, but it just cover all bases on everything, you know, like anything.
And you don't know what's going to happen when you give that coin to someone. Because Frank, Chef and I, about 4 years ago, we were with an IFBB pro and we gave him a coin. And at first I thought he was joking. He was a little shaking and he started crying and he gave Chef this big hug. And we thought it was a simple act, but it was the words that the chef gave to him or provided with the coin, telling him that he's an inspiration for people all around the world and that he's a role model. And we thought, like, this guy's won IFBB competitions before, and we weren't in a private place. We were in the hallway. And to see someone touched and moved so much by that coin, I always remember that sometimes when I also pass them out, you don't know what you're going to get back. Sometimes people don't know what they are. They say thanks and move on, but others, they give you some amazing stories about what it means to get a challenge coin. And in this case with the chef and I, you get emotion that you just weren't prepared for, that it makes you feel like you're doing the right thing by recognizing and thanking people for doing good things.
Everybody needs something. It sounds like the next Olympia, MuscleTech needs to make 100,000 of these.
Yeah, there you go.
That's for Saturday or Friday. They need Saturday too.
Sounds like you got to put that in your deal. So,
but while we're talking about MuscleTech, Chef, can you fill us in, because I think a lot of the audience probably has not heard and they're not sure. So maybe you can fill us in what's going on with MuscleTech.
So you know, it's crazy is I'm officially signed with MuscleTech, officially assigned with MuscleTech, and people didn't know that do know that, and you know, if you know me, I take fitness and health and mentality and mental wellness, all that very seriously. And I'm just not like a brand jumper. I don't even mess with brands like that. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've been really blessed not to have to, like, because monetary things is not what's important. It is important to grow, but at the same time, you have to have that same energy and whatever. If anyone treats me like I am a McDonald's per se, or just like you are a object, this is what you need to do and how you need to do it, I'm immediately out. I don't care what the money value is. That's what I always been taught my entire life. Your worth and value, who you are as a person, human, and so forth and so on. And so got in talks with MuscleTech a while ago, and the crazy thing about it is that while I was doing that, talks to them, I grew, these millions of followers.
Yeah. Wow.
And because of that, I and my lawyers and I have everything else. Here's the deal: what people don't understand is human nature is that first thing you say is, let's change the whole entire deal. Let's restructure this. Let's restructure that. You're number one on your TV show. You're this, and so forth. And so it goes into that battle. It's not about a battle. It's about a cause, right? My cause is to do what I need to do, and because MuscleTech and all the guys and teams that are behind them, which I call family, were so strenuous and so supporting on everything that I do. I told my lawyer, I said, no, I'm sticking with this deal that we had at the beginning. I'm not going to change this deal. I want to be a part of them like they want to be a part of me. And when that happened, it just changed the demographics for me. So now, of course, with you guys, and of course with Rob and everything else done with MuscleTech, I'm honored and proud to be part of them. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to do a video, my first one for today. But I appreciate them because of the conversation. Here's what I not want. Here's what I need. There's no wants from me. I need you to be on my side, especially with mental health and mental wellness, with military. And they were like, Chef, yes, of course. What are you trying to do? What do you want to do? How can we support? How can we help? I want this with the military. I want this with mental wellness. I want this with this. And they were all aboard on all of it, all around the area. I mean, just not even a question. And I get it. A lot of brands say, hey, we're going to give you a discount. We're going to do this. And they do things kind of like to write it off or whatnot. And I can smell them a mile away, just like Rob can. We come from politics. Yeah. We come from politics. We don't come from write-offs. We come from actual politics of people who are organic and genuine. And MuscleTech has been all of that to me. And I appreciate them tremendously. And we're going to do some amazing things together. Amazing. When I say amazing, it's like mind-blowing amazing things. And I'm sorry?
Will we see Chef Rush on the IFB Pro League stage? Go.
MuscleTech. That's a question for you. That's for me.
Yeah, he'll be on the stage presenting.
I will be on
medals and checks. Here's the check.
The check for 100,000. Yeah.
Sending the check for it. Yep.
Yes.
Well, now that you've been doing, obviously, people know the thousands of push-ups for charity. Will you up the number of that now? Since you're on MuscleTech, you'll be doing a whole regime. Will you be putting on masks? Will you be doing a cut? What are you going to be doing?
So I am. I actually just started back. People don't know. I don't get to work out a lot. I hate to say it. I'm not the guy, but I know my body like you do, Frank. I've seen you for years and how you Rob, who's dedicated up 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm getting up early. People don't have that mindset anymore. People think that that's unbelievable, unattainable, unimaginable, and people, when they say they can, I'm like, I cut myself from you. Once you use those can't words, I can't talk to you anymore. That's the only time I'm going to use it, because you don't have that mindset for it, that, and you go and you listen to everyone else. For me, I told MuscleTech, with the pull-ups or push-ups. The push-ups to me means more for me than a push-up, than a pull-up or a burpee or whatever. To each his own. But we have a legitimate cause that goes behind the push-ups in the military, in community, or whatever. Everybody doesn't have a bar to pull up on, but everybody has the ground, and you can always make a statement with it, and that's what I've always done. And I think at the Arnold, I did the 1 push-up challenge with everybody. They hated me. Because they got to understand that even though it's the 2,222, everything starts with 1. Everything starts with 1, and 1 could be your toughest struggle. That could be, you could be an alcoholic that's in one day, one time. You can be a drug addict. All I need is that one moment, that 1 second. And so I let them remind them, and I did it on my TV show, is to let them remind you of that 1, because you think that 1 is the simplest thing to do. when it's in actuality, it's the hardest thing to do. You have to have that admittance for it, and then you have to initiate it. But if you have somebody standing on your back, but then if you have 1,000 people standing on your back and holding you accountable for it, it makes a huge difference on that part of it. So I'm challenging MuscleTech. So we're going to do a lot of push-ups together. And I wanted to be where we go in these arenas, where we fitness thing, where we stop the whole entire everybody there, where they just stop and they drop down for honoring all of them, not only military veterans, but honoring each other, the ones we lost, the ones we do that. Think about that. If you take 60 seconds out of your time or 2 minutes out of your time and just stop and say, hey, this one right here is for everyone that we've lost in the past X amount of time, for everyone that's trying, for everyone who's failing, for everyone that needs some type of inspiration, and just stop. Just stop. If you can't do a push-up, do a burpee. If you can't do a burpee, just stand there. Put your hands on your heart, or however you want to do, whatever way you have to celebrate that expression. You just do that part of it. It's never about me, right? Even the push-ups. Somebody sent me the thing about the guy doing the push-ups the other day who broke the record. And I think it was 3,260. Like, Chef, you should do it. And I'm like, there's no need for me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I do it every day. Not just for to show you what I can do that time, but if I do it, I'm gonna make sure you do it too. That's part of it. You pushing me to do it.
Don't you like when people tell you, you should do this? Should I? Should I really? Yeah.
And what you were saying about MuscleTech is true. I've sent you a number of ideas from doing seminars at military installations and doing product donations, and everything was yes. Like, what can we do? Not how much, but how often. And whatever you need, we're going to be there. So I really appreciate your support, the future for MuscleTech and their support within the military community, because our war fighters often they need things, and the support that we're providing to them. Maybe they can't afford it, maybe they can, but they will really appreciate it. Really appreciate to understand that this company is behind them because they preserve and protect our great nation, and they do things for other nations around the world. So thanks for what you're doing there at MuscleTech with your veteran initiatives. I think our community will really benefit from it.
No, and I'll say really quick, thank you both of you guys for what you guys do for the veteran community. Frank and you and Rob, and people need to know more about you guys and what you do and how much you give each and every day. I mean, I could do a whole 10 episodes just talking about you two and what you guys do. And so it wouldn't be possible for me to spread my word if it wasn't for you two, for you to be my brothers and my brother, and how we give and support freely, openly, with no expectations whatsoever. And that's the most important part about it, because we live in a world today where everything is monetarily. What can you give me? What can I take from you? And I said on the last episode, we have givers and givers. You never go wrong, you never go broke, you never go hungry. You never have to watch your back. You want somebody that's going to be there in your corner just organically. And if I can do anything for you, I'm going to do it. And if I can't, let me figure out how or what and why and support. And so that's how we grow together. And that's how we make it stronger. And that's what I liked about MuscleTech again, because they were like, we're going to get the other guys involved. I'm like, get them involved. Don't have them here for money purposes or whatever, which they're not. But at the same time, they need to know and feel. I console for people who support others, and they bring me in to remind them why they're supporting, because they take it as a business now when these guys or families or whoever may be losing their lives or loved ones, and we kind of become complacent to that and just mechanical, but you still got to have some type of compassion.
The celebrity trainer Mark Jenkins blew his knee out training with the Dutch military. And we had a good conversation with podcast and off air, obviously, and we were talking about, he was like, his money was tied up, whole situation. He had a GoFundMe page, which was very hard for him to do, ego, but he's like, I had to do it. So he's like, you're the first one to put it up. Chef was the second because he didn't see it. And I shared it with him. He put it up and I put it up. And then I just watched who put it up and who didn't. And just took a mental note of that, because it kind of showed me who was real and who wasn't.
And you know what's funny, right? You gave me chill bumps again. When I saw that post, because I literally, when I'm on my social media, I'm skimming through it really fast, because I get so many things. A couple people I do look for. I look for you, and I look for Rob. I look for all the part of it. When I saw that, I looked at it and I opened it up real quick. And I think I had to go. Something happened, and I went back off of it, and I shared it right away. Right? But
Yep, you did.
I shared it right away because I saw it was a GoFundMe. I didn't even get to look at all of what it said. But if you put it up, I'm supporting you. And so I know whoever you're supporting, I'm going to support them as well. And I didn't even know who it was, but at the time, because it was so quick and fast, but that was important to me, because if you did take the time, and I know people kind of get itchy about, I'm not putting a GoFundMe out. This is my page and this is my territory and this is my, I'm like, guys, chill the hell out.
Put
It's
it
not
up.
that serious. Put it up. It doesn't, come on. You like, no, I get paid X amount of dollars for this right here. I'm like, that's what's wrong with us right now.
100%. Yeah, I just want to tell you I appreciate it.
No, I
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
you.
So did he. So he mentioned it as well. So yes, thank you.
And so with that deal, tell us about the #1 TV show, reality TV show on Tubi there. And first of all, as a military guy, I just say, again, salute to you because you're giving the military community the template for success. Like, as we spoke about earlier today, that sometimes because we're in such controlled environments, we need to keep our emotions in check because we deal with real life situations. We don't dream big enough. We're always just dreaming within a box. But because of the success that you're having, we now have, future military people or those serving now that why not them? Why can't they become the next big movie star or Arthur or a writer or a musician, whatever it is that they do, wherever their talents lead them, you are now providing them the template to say, Chef did it. He was a chef in the Army. He's taken his success, the lessons he learned from the military, and gone on to greater heights or different heights.
Mhm.
And I can do it too. So again, about your TV show, and did it probably exceed your expectations to have the #1 reality TV show? And I think you have it in a few different categories, right? It's more than just that reality show. It's
It went up to 5 different categories,
Mhm.
and it stayed that way, and it kept rising. And the last episode just aired Sunday on a high note, and everybody that contacted me about the show never talked about the cooking. They talked about the show. Even though the show was amazing, literally every person I've gotten some of the craziest people like in my inboxes and that you would never expect to talk
Mhm.
about this show, and even going through the airports now and people talking about the show and how
Same with me, because I was on that episode, and all these people keep stopping me saying, "Hey, I
I
saw
know
you on Kitchen
even
Commando."
me. But it was crazy because I'm gonna give Gordon all of that, Gordon Ramsay, Chef Ramsay, because to put in perspective, Rob said it best. She said I'm a very unemotional person. Rob says, I'll tell him about the stuff going. He's like, Chef, why don't you seem like happy about him? Why don't you have any emotion? Like everybody else be jumping through the roof, like I did it. I'm like, because I still got work to do. I still that was then. Now it's keep going. I don't have time to think about it because those wins. Even I tell my people who work for me and whatever they celebrate. I was like, okay, great, get back to work. We got more to do, right? Because you come on that part and you're stuck on that one win, you might have a thousand failures after that, and that'll mess you up completely. And we can't worry about that time. Even myself, I've had use my word failures, and guess what? They're part of my success. I get them, I got them, I wipe them off, I blow them off, and I keep on going. Somebody tells me, oh, you're not a good fit. Okay, good. I'm glad you said that. Remember that because you're gonna come back. And guess what? They come back. They do come back, right? Because I make myself more and more successful on purpose. And the military part of it is, what Rob was saying is that sometimes we get caught up in our own heads, on our own egos, and our own complacencies. And I was this person in the military, I was that person in the military, so I'm everything in the military, and you're absolutely nothing because I did more than you.
Mm.
We don't do more than each other. We do our jobs. That's what we do. If you're a garbage man, you do your job. If you're a cook, you do your job. If you're intelligent, you do your job. If you're this person, you do your job. Stop thinking like your job is more important than everybody else's job because everybody has to do a job. It doesn't matter. Now, mind your own status quo, whatever significance, whether you're saving lives or however, you may be doing something that no one even knows about. And on a realistic aspect of it is, Even if you're sweeping a yard or sweeping a deck or whatever it may be, something could affect you that could take you out of the game and get you PTSD or make you have ideation compared to someone who's been over in Iraq 5 times or whatnot and is okay with that. So people don't know people's nature, where they come from. I learned very young, luckily at a young age, about human nature, people that came from different backgrounds, different colors, different religions, and I know nothing about them from Mississippi because I was black and white. And so, but my part of success is, from my dad, is just be the hardest worker. Somebody wants you to fail. Those are 2 things he taught me. It wasn't any fluff. It wasn't anything. He said, be the hardest worker in the room. Somebody wants you to fail. You know, it wasn't like you can do anything, Dre. You can do this or you can do that. That's my mother. My dad was like, nope, you better work your butt off. You better work your butt off so hard. You better get up. You better do this. And at one point in time, I was like, damn, Dad, can you give me a break? You know, but now fast forward, I appreciate it. I'm okay with that. And I will tell my son, I will tell anybody else, work your butt off. Somebody wants you to fail. That's being realistic, especially this day and age. And then for that show with Gordon Ramsay, I look at it with very sincere humility because he's Gordon Ramsay. Come on. He could have had any chef he wanted to anywhere in the world to take my place. This is his first show in the US. This is their first show. Now imagine me having to set the standards for their very first show. It's like, okay, and mind you, it wasn't the best circumstances. The one thing I knew was I had leadership, I had tact, I had directions, I had me, and I had my heart, right? And I put every last one of those in a way to put this show in, forgot about the cameras, forgot about this, because to me, this is real life. This is what I do. So when you see all those different emotions from me yelling and anger, this is what I did in the military. So when you see me hugging and kissing, no kissing, but see me hugging, that was me in the military, because you have to have it tough. You have to have the yin and yang. You got to have those equilibriums on that part of it. And just so happened it related with everyone in the world, meaning that people say, you know what, I thought it was gonna be a regular old, cooking show like everything else. And when they actually saw it, they're like, whoa, this is different. And I'm getting people like, I binge watched every episode. I binge watched, and it was smarter too, because at first it was gonna come out at one time, and they loved the show, and they were like, no, we're gonna do them every Sunday. And it was a smart move because everybody waited every Sunday to see each and every episode to show the worth and the value of it. And every episode and every week, it just grew more and more. So did I have expectations that it was going to do its very best? Yes, because I didn't have a choice. Even with me not even having anything to judge anything off of, I just said, I need to go in here and do what I need to do. And people thought they're like, Chef, it seemed like you have been doing this all your life. And I'm like, well, this is my life now. So I have to do my very best at it. Even when I go speaking, I never spoke before. And I told you, Rob, I mean, you starting off at $500, for an hour to, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 an hour, nothing changes. I still give you the same passion then that I give you the same passion now. Nothing changes. Worth and value is that us in the military, especially enlisted personnel, is that we put a limit and a cap on what we're worth, because unfortunately, sometimes it's kind of portrayed that way, and not to say I love all my military and I love all my officers, from my sisters and brothers and all that, but sometimes it makes it seem as though, hey, you can go ahead and get this GS job that's a GS 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, you'll be okay, or you can do this and do that. No one says, go start your own company. Open up your own company and become a CEO of it and do this and do this and do this. Or go to Apple and go to Mac and do the top and be a CEO of the company. No one says that to enlisted personnel. No one says it to them, because they say, here's your worth and value. And because you don't get that hurt, it's like telling your kid, you can do anything, never give up, keep going. You say it long enough, they'll believe it. But you go in the military where you got a young private, soldier, sailor, devil dog, and you're like, hey, here's what you're doing. This is your job. You do it very well. Congratulations. Hey, go off, get another job, and then do that job for another 20 years, retire, get your Social Security, and you're okay. That's BS to me, right? Because that's what I was told. Even at my level, that's what I was told. And I was just like, are you crazy? Are you crazy?
That
You put that in perspective of that, and you know that you never have expectations. You have drive. And I never knew how much on a monetary level that I would do. Rob knows when I first started this, I did everything for free. I did a lot of stuff for free.
A lot for me.
Yeah.
Every charity I do, chef, can I help? Can I have you? Yeah.
No, Rob, I would do anything for Rob, like I would do anything for you. But I was doing stuff because that's my corner, that's my loyalty to him. But I was doing stuff in corners for people who were millionaires, who just took everything from me. Can you imagine that? Me,
Why they're millionaires, because they're cheap.
yeah, exactly. Knowing that I'm struggling, knowing that I have PTSD, knowing that I'm at the bottom, and you take advantage of that because I'm at that very bottom, and like I'm gonna use your platform to get me where I am. Why would you do something like that?
You know, people who see you and look at you in a perception, obviously, that they have is this guy. Nothing phases him. He's extremely confident, you know, handle any situation. But I'm just curious, what's the hardest part about doing the show? And do you still get nervous over certain things? I know for PTSD, I don't want to go into it, but for PTSD, when you're busy, you're okay. But when you're alone and you have that time after the show, just a couple, how do you deal with that?
You know what you just said? Perfect point. Everybody looks at me and says, "You got it together."
Yeah.
They don't look at me as no PTSD, no anxiety, no depression, no trauma, no anything. They just look at me, but they don't see anything.
Mhm.
And me doing the shows and me keeping busy is a part of who I am. Like I said on the last show, was that when I do stuff and people say thank you, I said thank you back. It's my therapy. Even the show is my therapy. But a couple times, if you saw the first episode when I went off on a young kid, Micah, when he said he has triggers, right? And I went and grabbed and I went off on him, and I'm like, I got a effing triggers. And you triggered me, you know? That was a real trigger, right? But then at the same time, while I'm doing that, you know, where I have to think is looking down on myself, say, okay, Chef, calm down. All right, now it's time to educate. And so when I pull him to the side and say, hey, I'm here for you. I see you. You're me. We're together. We do this together. And it was a big thing for me because I have to take that always in perspective. Now, like I said, do I have those times when, you know, I'm triggered, or those times when I just get like down and think about stuff, even about my daughter? And, you know, I think about that every day. Me talking about it helped me. It helped me. It helped me because I'm informing people of something that they may not be aware of, not on my personal level, but maybe their individual purpose level. Um, and that means a lot. But I still go to therapy. People don't know that. Still go to therapy. I still do my things, and I still have to try. I still deal with people in the military, and people in the military sometimes, where I'll be honest with you, like our system for therapy and the VA and whatever, some of the people that's inside, they still treat it a little bit like McDonald's, right? Like you're just going to therapy, like you're not, you know, I'm dealing with all these people, oh my God. And that's a trigger to me by itself. You know, I had one of my people call me the other day, and I told them that, you know, hey, I'm dealing with a loss. I didn't say everything. And they're like, oh, you need to make this appointment. And I was like, I just said, I am dealing with a loss. They're like, well, I need to get this so you can have this. And I said, lady, if you don't shut the, and I just went off. I said, that's what I don't like you people here. You talk like you don't know what you're doing. That's the problem with the military. You need to stop for a second. If somebody says something to you and you're calling them for that particular reason, it may be smarter you to think and stop on why you're calling them point blank, you know? So that's the hard part. But that's an individual basis. That could be one person out of 100, you know, and that's the way it is.
The way it is, everybody is a work in progress. No matter what status of life you're in, you're constantly evolving, dealing with different situations. You're always one step from financial crisis or a health issue or a tragedy, and can never be too high, too low. So yeah, everybody's a work in progress. I know 20 years ago, people were like, oh my God, you're going to a psychiatrist. Now everybody goes, you know, or you should go. You know?
Right.
Yeah, or you should go.
Everybody.
Well, but you're presenting what you've learned as well, like, you know, over the years too, because you learn a lot of things in therapy as well. So, you know, it's like, do what I say, not what I do as well sometimes too.
It's true. It is. And that's it. I'll tell you, do what I say, not what I do, because guess what? I can deal with what I do because I've done it for years. You got to start off from scratch. You're not there yet, you know? So that's the caveat.
You can pull your triggers back. People can't.
So, Chef, with all these successes that you're talking about, I'm sure that you have some deals that you probably can't share with the audience publicly yet, but you probably still have major things that are going to happen that could be life-changing, life-altering for you. I would think your success breeds more success. So as a company sees you being successful with one company, say, he's vetted, we're good. So now we're going to give him an opportunity. So are there some things like that in the works that you will come to Frank and Rob's podcast to announce once they do go public again?
Actually, you know what? There are 11 of those right now. 11.
Congratulations, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's 11 of those.
Frank, did you hear what he said? Frank and Rob's podcast presented by Chef Rush.
Wow, you know what? We'll be doing it from the Taj Mahal.
I know. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's about 11 of those that I'm actually grateful for, extremely grateful, and that I'm overly humbled by because of the people that came to me from the top of the top, who've been in the industry that deals with some of the people that we see every day from all walks of the world on TV, and they come to me and just be like, Chef, we love what you do and who you are. It pays to be nice. It pays to be humble. It pays to be grateful. It pays to give back. It pays to do all that stuff. Persona, I have so many different personalities. You know, I was just on a thing the other day, and the guy was talking to me. He was like, "So you're not the person on your Instagram?" So I started a thing called aggressive cooking, where I'm like pushing the guys around and doing that. It's a gimmick. It's just me having fun with them. It's bringing in different people when they see it. But I put little nuggets inside of it, like, "Oh, you're doing good, bro. Keep going. Get out of the way," you know.
But I have seen your temper one time.
I
We were in Columbus, Ohio, and the Uber driver, 20 minutes later, he kept going around in circles. And then I just sat back and laughed because I had never seen that before. And I think after a while, I think you thought, let me calm down because he doesn't mean to make us this late. But yeah, you had some choice words for him.
You know, the hardest thing for me is, right? So people don't know. They think that my lifestyle has been a chef. Chefing was a hobby of mine. Chefing was a hobby. I'm a fighter. I've always fought my whole entire life. I've been a trainer. I've been that. I did everything. I love to go shoot. I love to go hunt. I love to do all these different things that people think because I cook, they assume like, oh, he's a big dump that can't cook. I will whoop your in the quickest time possible. That's what I'm taught. You know, this came from my Secret Service guys right here from the White House, right? Who I love to death because, you know, we do training and do all this stuff together. And I just love just to get down and get hit and whatnot. And it's hard because today's, you know, age is that you want to react with violence or whatnot. I don't react with violence. I don't want to do anything because they're like, oh, you're a big, slow guy. And I'm like, and I say to people all the time, especially if you have trolls or whatever, I just say, I'm saying, guys, please keep all your comments on here. Please don't ever approach me in person. Just do not approach me. I'm not going to have a conversation with you. I'm not going to have anything with you. Just don't. I'm begging you, do not do it. Don't do it. Because it's just not going to be where I'm like, oh, you guys, you go ahead talking to I just can't because I do have PTSD. I have stuff. I have been threatened. I have been, you know, this and that and so forth, but I have to be very nice. And I see all these kids and everybody that comes up to me. That's why I don't have time to play around with people. So when people are like, oh, Chef, he wouldn't weigh himself. I'm like, I don't play. You're not in my lane. You're not even in my zip code. You're not in my, I don't care. You're not with me. So I don't do those little games, you know? So, but it's all good. But it's a work, like you said, Frank, it's a work in progress.
You have in the fitness industry, it's funny because you transcend to all different markets, but if I'm like someone going into a vitamin shop or store and I'm getting MuscleTech and I see you, I'm like, Chef Rush, he's a chef. This must taste good because he wouldn't have it. You know what I mean? Like those little things, those little sales. Because I know a chef wouldn't taste garbage. He's got
Come on,
right?
So the first thing I want to say is that, I've been a chef for a long time. Oh, I'm an Olympic chef, actually. I've competed all over the world and I have fun. I do dumb stuff. I don't try to do classical stuff. I don't try to do any of that stuff anymore because it's just not worth it to me anymore, because people realistically, it looks good, but it doesn't bring your audience, because they won't do it or they can't know how to do it and it's not feasible for lifestyle. But what MuscleTech, like I said, is if you see me doing something like I'm going to do these little things today or whatever, and I'm going to do more and more and more and more, you just like you being a trainer, if you're 500 pounds and you talking about training me, I'm gonna be like, you can tell me anything in the world on how the body works, and I'm still gonna be like, well, buddy, practice what you preach. If you say, well, I got an underlying thing with, my body, I'm still going to be the same way because that's human nature on that part of it. But with this, and that's one of the other things with MuscleTech is that I'm going to start trying to get more involved in development of that part. I know we have all these fitness people and bodybuilders that are chefs, which I love them, and some of them actually know what they're doing, right? But some of them just kind of get on there and like, just shake it up, oh, drink this up, and it's good. But it's some actually one of the guys on MuscleTech is really great at it. I'm looking forward to kind of like transcending all those categories and bringing more people in that awareness area.
Will we see the chef smack a cup of the new MuscleTech protein design at a trade show when somebody doesn't like it and goes, tastes like garbage?
You know what? That's next. That's next. I'm gonna kick it. I'm gonna do a Nintendo. I'm gonna smack it up.
Chef, is it true that you got an offer from Costco that you could start cooking at their at all their stores now, so you can give out new Swedish meatballs and chicken tenders and stuff, that you'll be at those booths? I heard that's one of the offers you got.
It was true, but they mustn't have their supply. Yeah.
IKEA's got the Swedish meatballs, Rob.
Yeah, whoever. But, could you imagine you're at Costco and you hear this voice that sounds familiar, and you look and it's the chef. He's cooking up.
The longest line ever, Rob.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? That's out of the box. Like I said to you earlier today, we got to start thinking out of the box, because at a brand like that, think about the impact and the reach that you would have. It would just be tremendous. It would just be so big. And you know what we need to do is try to bring more fun to people, have more great experiences, because as even my wife Amy says, we need less stuff and more fun and more experiences where we go places and experience great sunsets and wonderful beaches, and maybe we take rides on amusement park rides or something like that, but we just have more good memories. Because I think after COVID, we can all I think we can all appreciate us having some more joy, more laughter, and more good times.
True. I agree.
Yeah.
Much more.
And,
well, Frank, you have any more questions? Because we've kept Tim a long time.
I have a million, but I smell a part 3 with the 11 deals cooking. So
yes. A port 5.
Yeah.
You're not stopping. You're not stopping. We're doing this together.
Exactly. We're gonna. No, I would love obviously talking to you. What I like most about you, about your show, everything, is that you're real, that you have all these different emotions, that you're not trying to be this nice guy under every circumstance, or you're trying to be a rough guy under every circumstance. Like, you're a real person. And I think that people see that. I think the market now is so savvy. People know they could smell a fake, and I like that. So listen, the next time an Uber driver drives around the circle, be you.
You know what, Frank? I appreciate that. People, I'm human. I'm not gonna be trying to be the I don't know what they say. I'm not Mother Teresa. I'm a human person. If somebody says something to me and whatnot, and I say something back to them, but the one thing, and the reason why people say, Chef, why are you replying to these people that may say something? I'll tell you why I do that is I reply respectfully, but in a way where it's explained. Because the last time I went out, I had kids from ages 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's my new demographics now. I have a lot of kids. They see me, they look at everything that I do. And when they see somebody bullying me and I don't say anything, they be like, Mom, that chef didn't say anything. He just let that guy bully him, or like that whoever bully him. But then when I see it, I say it in a respectful way, because the reason why I know this is because they came to me and said, Chef, thank you. I really appreciate you saying something back, because I thought the guy was just going to say this and that about you. And they say some pretty hard stuff, right? And I said, hey, it's okay to stand up for yourself. Just do it respectfully, and you don't have to fight anyone. You don't have to be that way. I'm human, because now I'm going to say something to you, then I'm going to block you, and I'm going to forget about it. I'm going to do a Michael Hearn on you.
Yeah. Did you see that video about Michael Hearn where the guy comes up to him and he calls him a troll? Calls Mike a troll, and Mike's like, "Call me a troll?" And Mike, you have to watch it. He diffused the whole situation. Without Mike would have killed him, but he just diffused the whole situation.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, I don't know if I could do that.
Me
Like I
neither.
said, I'm working on myself. I'm a work in progress.
He's a better guy than me. I was going to the gym the other day, and I had a bunch of stuff in my hands, and some millennial was going into the gym, opened up the door, and slammed the door right on my face. I was like, am I going to say something? You better, your ass. I was like, hey, you see? He's like, I didn't see you. I'm like, you saw me, but you drove me nuts. I'm like, I had a cough and had this.
Yeah.
I'm like, you son of. You look up, there's cameras everywhere. You're like, oh.
I know, right? I mean, hey, like you said, we're work in progress on that part of us. It's just
deep breath.
People, deep breaths. You deal with so many people, and somebody wants to be famous. That's the part about it. Cameras are everywhere, and somebody wants to be famous. So I know one day, unfortunately, somebody's going to try Chef Rush, and they're going to try it in a big audience and do it around a bunch of people, regardless of how it's going to be and what it's going to be. And I just pray it doesn't happen. And I just pray I'm in a great mindset.
Yes.
To think about that. But at the same time is that, like I said, again, I'm human. So I work on myself every day about that. So, and then I also try to switch it up where I can get that person to understand that, hey, it's not all about this. It's not about that life. It's about what you're doing and who you're inspiring. I know it's easier to get more attention being negative, but it's more grateful and more positive to get attention for being who you are, giving back.
Yeah, I mean, you do the best you can every day. Sometimes some people are just out of control, and you can't diffuse anything, but you do the best you can. Like you're not outwardly looking for issues or problems or whatever, but sometimes there are people out there, unfortunately. Unfortunately. But we're going to do part 3, Rob, right?
Yes, we are. And Chef, again, we want to make sure that we stay in touch with you, that if there's anything we can do to support you, if there's something going on with your brands, with your companies, with your shows, that you need us to help use this 18 million voices that we have on this brand. Dan Solomon has said, whatever the chef needs, we'll provide it for him, because he's part of the family. So we just want to make sure that you understand that you have a home here. Maybe one day you can even get your own seat. You can be a podcaster with us. If you do another job, maybe one of those 11 was being with us. We just didn't know about it yet. But, yeah, we have a good time here. Our goal is to inspire, to uplift, and to motivate. We're never here for gotcha type media or bringing down people. Our goal is to uplift, inspire, and say that we all are going through tough things, but this is a place of comfort. This is a place to share your story, to let the world know what you're doing and how we can assist you. So thank you for being, we're just so happy for you. And I think the entire military community is happy and proud of what you're doing, because you represent us all so well. And so I know you're not done. So we're just looking for more superlatives to hurl your way. But thanks for what you do, for being such a good, honest guy. And for being in the Army, you're not that bad.
I was about to say the same thing about the Air Force, but I love you both. You know that. And I appreciate you for all your service that you do. It's always an honor. I can't wait till next time we get back together. So, like I said, I have something for your son, and it's a little bit bigger than Rob's, but he knows that.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Chef.
That's true. So everybody, thanks. Our next podcast will be next week. We're looking forward to a lot of inspiring guests like Chef Rush. And thanks for your support. Our numbers are doing really well, and we're not Chef Rush level yet, but we're trying. So thanks, everyone. Have a great, safe
Thank you.
day.
Thank you.